Hi, my Servants for Saplings friends. Welcome back. Last week, Liz told you about Daniel and Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego, who obeyed God's rules about what they should eat, even when all the people around them weren't obeying. Well, today, we're going to hear more about these men when they were tempted to disobey again. But before we begin, I'm going to tell the story while we draw a scene together, and we need to get some supplies. I'll always be the art teacher, right? Well, first, you need a large piece of white paper. Really, any size will do, even if you just have copy paper. But preferably, you should have one side that's longer than the other. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. But you should grab that. And next, you're going to need a black marker. I'm using a Sharpie. Your parents might not let you use Sharpies, and that's okay. So you can grab any black marker, except I would warn you that if you're going to paint with me today, try not to use a washable marker because it will bleed into your picture. You might have to use a pencil if that's the only thing you have, but that's okay. Next, if you want to paint with me, I'm going to use watercolors. So you'll want to grab your watercolor tray, and you'll want to grab a paintbrush. And then I have a cup of water because we're going to need water for watercolors. If you don't have any paint, that's okay. We can use markers or crayons when we're all done drawing our characters today. So why don't you pause the video and gather your supplies and get your workspace all set up. All right, first step is to fold the right side of your paper over, creating a little flap. And on this flap, we're going to draw our first character. So if you want to fold your paper over just a little bit, you're not going all the way. Then fold it just like that. All right, once you're ready, we're going to start drawing our first character. So you can grab your black marker. And we know that through Jesus, the world was made, and that he is the radiance of God, the exact imprint of God's nature. And I really look forward to the day we can see exactly what Jesus looked like. But today, we're going to have to use our imagination. So we're going to draw Jesus together. And what I want you to do is to draw a U shape for his face. And next, you're going to add little C's for his ears. Nice. And once you have that, we're going to do his eyes in between his ears. So you're going to draw 2 circles. We won't leave them like that. Next, you're going to draw 2 little circles inside. And then we're going to color this in, but we're going to leave a little bit of white inside of his eyes. Just like that. Then we're going to do a little U for his nose. And then I don't know about you, but I've always imagined Jesus with a beard. So I'm going to connect this ear and this ear with a beard. And then I definitely picture him with a little smile. All right, then we're going to do something with the top of his head right there. Well, we know he was a Jew, so I kind of imagine that he might have curly hair. They had dark black hair that had some curls in it. I bet some of them didn't have curls in their hair, but I imagine he had curls. So I did little cloud shapes, 2 rows of them to make his hair. All right, next, coming from his neck, we're going to draw a long line down, and I'm going a little bit wider as I draw down. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Make sure they line up. And then I'm going to connect them with a line that bows out just a little bit. I'm drawing him here in a tunic, so it's nice and long, covers his whole body, so I'm not doing pants, it's just a long tunic. And next, we're going to do maybe a sash that goes down. It looks like a J, like this. And then we're going to do another J, like that, because kings will wear sashes. Good, once you have that, we're going to draw a straight line coming out for his arm. And same thing on the other side. But this isn't going to be a stick figure, so we have to add a little bit more. We're going to do a thumb on both sides. And we have 5 fingers, right? So the thumb is 1. Now we need 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're adding 4 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got that? And that line is just going to connect up here. All right, Jesus has a head, a beard, 2 arms, a body. Oh, we need some legs. So let's make some short lines coming out that are going to be his ankles. And then from this side, we're going to go down, kind of make a little hill shape, and then straight back over to his ankle, and then up to connect. You see that? Now, do you remember the story of Jesus washing his disciples' feet and how he would remove their sandals? So I know he wore sandals, so I'm going to do 2 lines right there to make it look like he's wearing sandals. And then the same thing on this side. So we'll draw our hill shape, straight line over, connect the ankle to the bottom of his foot, and then we're going to make some more sandal shapes. There's our Jesus. Good job. All right, now we're going to read our story today of what happens with King Nebuchadnezzar. All right, Nebuchadnezzar was the king of Babylon, and one day Nebuchadnezzar made a tall statue out of gold, 90 feet tall. His herald made an important announcement from the king. When you hear the sound of music, you must fall down and worship the statue. Anyone who does not obey this rule will be thrown into the fiery furnace. The rule was for everyone in Babylon. So when the people heard the sound of music, they fell down and worshipped the gold statue, just like the king commanded. Here's a little picture of one of the artist's idea of what the statue might have looked like. And let me ask you, who does God tell us to worship with our whole heart? Yes, you're right, Wendell. The true God, Yahweh. He commands us not to bow down and worship anything else. Next question for you. What do you think about King Nebuchadnezzar's heart? Just a second. Is he worshiping the true God? No, he is seeking his own fame, and that's called pride, which is a sin. Now, not everyone bowed down and worshiped the statue. 3 men from Judah, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Those guys didn't do it.
They didn't. They refused to bow down to the statue. All right, let's draw these 3 men on the other side of our paper over here. So first, we've got to make their faces. So we're going to start with that U shape first. We've got Shadrach. Then we've got Meshach, another U. And then we've got Abednego right there. 1, 2, 3. Good. And just like we did with Jesus, we're going to do their ears, which are a little C shape. We'll do ears for all of them. Good. And I'm going to make each of mine look a little bit different. But we'll start with this one over here. We'll do Shadrach's eyes by making 2 circles. And I'm going to add little circles on the inside. And then remember, when we color it in, leave a little bit of white paper poking through. Then we're going to do Abednego's nose. And I picture him with a beard again, so I'm going to draw a line that connects this ear to this ear. And give him a little smile. Good. Next, we're going to do the lines. Oh, I should probably do his head. Oh, I think maybe he's bald. There we go. He doesn't have any hair on the top of his head. But maybe he has glasses. Do they have glasses then? I don't know. I'm making a U shape and a straight line and then connecting it to the ear. All right, then we'll do our line going down. He's going to be wearing a tunic again. And another line from the neck out a little ways. And then a line connecting that bows out just a little bit. There's his tunic. And instead of wearing a sash, he's going to wear a belt. So I'll give him 2 lines to be his belt. And then we're going to do his arms. So from the neck, I'm going to go straight out and then put my little thumb and do my other side. From the neck, draw a line out and put a little hill to be my thumb. And then do my 4 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those fingers got a little silly looking. And then we'll draw the line to connect the pinky to his body. And then we got to do his feet. So make those ankles, short lines coming out. And I'm noticing that you can't see that. There you go. And then a little hill, straight line, and then connect. And he's wearing sandals too. Do another hill on this side, straight line, and then connect. There's Abednego. Oh no, I said he was Shadrach, didn't I? Okay, now we're going to do Meshach. Meshach needs some eyes. We'll do our circles and our smaller circles inside. Color it in, leaving some white. And then a nose. And this one has a mustache. So I'm drawing a little hill shape, and then I'm coming on the other side of it and connecting it with a little smile. All right, and for his hair, I'm going to draw a line going from the top of this ear over to this one, but partway through, I'm going to make a little zigzag. See that? So it kind of looks like his hair has a little wave. So then when we do this spot, I'm going to draw that zigzag again. You see that? There we go. And Meshach, you need a body. So from his neck, draw a line down, and then connect those two lines. Can you see? We'll give you a belt. And now you need some arms. Maybe they're holding hands, huh? And a thumb. And now you're not really going to be able to see his fingers over here. So what am I going to do? Maybe I'll draw 2 of them, 3 of them. There you go. Do these 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. And then we'll do his ankles, those short little lines coming from the bottom of his tunic. Do a hill, straight line, and connect the ankle. And put his sandals on. All right, Shadrach, Meshach, last one, Abednego. You've been drawing a lot of people, haven't you? Okay, let's do his eyes. 2 circles, smaller circles inside. Leave a little bit of white. Draw your nose. And you know what I'm noticing is that my Shadrach looks a little bit like Pastor Lou, and my Meshach looks a little bit like Pastor Dan. And I think my Abednego needs to look a little bit like Pastor John. And Pastor John has a goatee. They used to be really popular in the 90s. So it's just a little bit of hair. It's not a full beard, and it's not a little mustache. So we're going to draw a line going up to the nose and back down again. And that's Abednego's goatee. And we'll give him a little smile. Wow, they really do look like our pastors, don't they? That's kind of funny. All right, now his hair. Let's do a bunch of zigzags. And we'll do the same thing on the top. Nice hair, Abednego. All right, last, let's do his body. So we'll take the line out, line down, line out, coming down. You're not going to be able to see one of his arms. That's okay. And connect those lines. And give him a belt. And then this arm is going to be hiding over there. But this one we'll be able to draw. So we'll draw a straight line out, give him a thumb and 4 fingers. Yours might have room like mine. Mine doesn't. And then we'll do his ankles with the hills, connect the lines, and give him sandals. All right, we have our men. Well, these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when they refused to bow down to the statue, some men went to King Nebuchadnezzar to complain about them. They didn't like these men from Judah who didn't obey their king. You have made a rule for all the people, they reminded the king, but some men from Judah do not bow down and worship your statue. Well, this news made King Nebuchadnezzar angry. He called for the men and asked them, "Is it true that you do not serve my gods or worship the gold statue? If you do not bow down when you hear the music, I will throw you into a fiery furnace. Then, what God could rescue you from my power?" Well, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered, King, the God we serve is able to rescue us from the fiery furnace. He can save us from you. But even if God chooses not to rescue us, we will not serve your gods, and we will not bow down and worship the gold statue. Wow. Let's talk about what they said. They said that God could rescue them. How could God rescue them? What are some different ways? You could pause the video and talk about that with your parents a little bit. Well, he could change the heart of King Nebuchadnezzar, right? God's a heart changer, and the king could decide to keep them out of the fire. God could also protect them in the fire. Or isn't it kind of rescuing them if he just receives them in heaven if they were to die in the fire? Yeah, well, King Nebuchadnezzar, his heart did not change. He was even angrier. He ordered that the furnace be made 7 times hotter. He told the strongest soldiers in his army to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and the soldiers threw them in the fiery furnace. Oh man, we need to draw a fire over here because now our 3 characters are inside the furnace. So we're going to draw some fire. First, what I want you to do is to kind of make a wave shape. So you're going to wave and come up. And then that tip is going to come down. And then we're going to do waves going up and waves going down. Wave up, wave down, wave going up, and a wave coming down. Now that's a little fire. Remember, King Nebuchadnezzar said he was going to make it even bigger. So partway through this flame, we're going to actually do another flame. So we're going to come up with our wave and go way up here. And then wave down. We're going to get even higher. We're going to wave up and wave down. Let's do another one. So wave up and wave down. And then another one. Wow, that's a big fire. You know what? There might even be little flames coming off of that when a flame shoots out a little bit. That's a big fire, isn't it? All right, let's connect where this line ended and this line starts. So you can make bumpy lines like this to show different flames. And then we need some firewood in order to have a fire. So how I like to do my fire is I make a swirly line. So I start on the big one and I come back around and I get smaller and smaller and smaller. Have you made that shape before? Probably. Then on the top of that swirl, I draw a line going into the fire. And then on the bottom of that swirl, I draw a line going into the fire. And that is my log. I can even draw little bark lines right there. Okay, I'm going to do some more. Do a nice swirl. Oh, I did it the opposite way this time, didn't I? I started small and went big. Then I do my lines going into the fire. And my bark. I'll do it the big way this time. Go into the fire. And then we'll do one last one. There we go. There is my big fire. Well, suddenly, King Nebuchadnezzar jumped up. Didn't we tie up 3 men and throw them into the fire? Look, the king shouted. I see 4 men walking around in the fire, and they aren't tied up, and the 4th man looks like a son of the gods. Here is where we get to fold Jesus over that fire. And here he is. He is that 4th man in the fire. Jesus, the Son of God. Nebuchadnezzar quickly went to the door of the furnace, and he called out, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come here. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the fire. They had not been hurt by the fire at all. Their hair and their clothes were untouched, and they didn't even smell like fire. Have you ever been to a bonfire before? And you might be sitting around, maybe even not that close to the bonfire, but when you go home that night, doesn't your coat and your shirt and your pants, doesn't everything smell like bonfire? Well, they didn't even smell like fire. Well, Nebuchadnezzar praised God. The God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego sent an angel and rescued his servants. King Nebuchadnezzar made a new law for all the people. Anyone who says anything against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's God will be punished. No other God can save people like this. Then the king gave Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego even more important jobs in the kingdom of Babylon. Well, what an exciting rescue God did for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fire. Only he could have rescued them. And God rescues us too, through his Son, Jesus. Only Jesus can save us from our sin, which could easily consume us like a fire. You see that? Our sin can be kind of like that fire. Jesus' sacrifice on the cross provided a way for us to be rescued from sin and have eternal life. Well, we have finished our picture, except I mentioned that we were going to be able to paint it or color it in with markers. So you can grab your paintbrush. I'm going to have some fun. I'll put the video in a little bit faster speed so you could watch me paint and you can paint along with me.